Empowering girls starts with encouragement and grows through action. We welcome the Executive Director of Plan International Pilipinas, a passionate advocate working to close the leadership gap for women and girls in the Philippines. What changes does she want to see, and what policy solutions is she bringing to the table? Let's go find out on Girl Talk. And we are joined by Pebbles Sanchez-Ogang, Executive Director of Plan International Pilipinas. Welcome to the show, Pebbles. Beautiful day to you.
Yes, good morning. Indeed, it's a beautiful day today. Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks
so much for being here.
Yeah, and for waking up early, braving traffic to be with us live today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Quite used to it because our office is in Makati.
Yeah.
So traveling from Quezon City to Makati requires you to be a warrior.
I know. I feel you, girl. You live in Tandagsora, you
Yes,
said? Yeah, I
yes.
live in that area as well, Commonwealth. So yung traffic route, especially if you're going to Makati, super traffic yan. But anyway, let's dive right in. I wanted to start first with talking about Plan International Pilipinas. What is this all about? And you have this campaign, Stand with Girls.
Yes.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Plan International Pilipinas is a girls' and child's rights organization. We're a non-government organization. We've been here in the Philippines for the last 64 years. And the heart and core of the organization is really to fight and stand with girls, children, and young people, and the most vulnerable communities. So, Stand with Girls campaign, actually, it's just the continuation of our advocacy to really fight for girls and children's rights. While the Philippines had so much progress in terms of girl and women empowerment, the realities on the ground really show that there's much to be done. No? And since we've been working with around 6,000 partner communities or barangays in the Philippines, we've seen how these areas still needs a lot of support and help coming from different sectors.
You know, it's really interesting because, again, your organization is an international organization. And when we take a look at the Philippine focus here, a lot of people do say at least sa ASEAN region, napaka-progresibo ang mga babae in the region, right? But then when you take a look at the things that are needed, are you surprised when you look around and you see yung mga needs that need to be addressed, especially when it comes to women empowerment, girls empowerment?
You know, in the Philippines, mataas na yung pagtingin sa mga kababaihan. Madalas nga pag pinag-uusapan naming mag-asawa, parang instead of patriarchal, we're now a matriarchal society. Yung lokohan namin, yung budget, ikaw naman ang nasusunod sa budget. Yung mga ganong maliliit na kwentuhan. But while we've made progress, for instance, in the field of education, we've seen a lot of young girls and women actually going into education, finishing school. But there's still a gap. For instance, bridging education to economic empowerment. Hindi lahat ng kababaihan, batang babae ay successfully nakakahanap ng trabaho. Hindi lahat ay nakakapag-venture into business dahil maraming mga nangyayaring barriers na pumipigil sa kanila para ma-reach yung kanilang full potential. And I think that is where Stand with Girls campaign of Plan International Pilipinas comes in. It is to remind and celebrate the potential of every girl and every Filipina, that we have a space here in the Philippines and that we are now strong, but we can become stronger.
You're talking about children's rights, equality for women, equality for girls. What does equality for girls ba look like in everyday life here in the Philippines? Anong situation na ngayon?
Right now, I've mentioned that with education, we've made some progress. But I've said that when it comes to employment, maraming mga kabataang babae, most especially in the partner communities that we've worked with, they're not able to get into job right away because maybe some of them were forced early into marriage. Some of them we've met, they resort into self-facilitated online sexual abuse and exploitation or live streaming because may mga bata kaming nakausap, kami po kasi ang panganay na babae. So, meron po kaming pakiramdam na responsibilidad namin na tulungan yung mga kapatid namin at yung pamilya namin. So, may mga ganong barriers na hindi natin nakikita sa pang-araw-araw. At ito yung kinakaharap ng iba nating mga kababayan. So, when we talk about gender equality and inclusion, we really have to make sure that all is equal. Everyone is actually living in a just and safe space.
Now we have a better idea of what the Stand with Girls campaign is about, right? Let's talk about yung mga activities na ginagawa ninyo. Can you tell us a bit more about what you've done so far, and of course yung experience mo being able to see the reaction of people and the type of change that you're trying to really implement?
Yes. So Plan International Pilipinas, while we are actually globally connected, we are locally led and we're present again to 6,000 partner communities. Meron po kaming iba't ibang program areas in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. At nakakatuwa pong makita na maraming mga programa, mga symposiums, forums, activities na ginagawa po ngayon to celebrate the International Day of the Girls, which is actually a United Nations declaration. October 11 of every year, we celebrate it. And Stand with Girls campaign is part of that celebration. Marami pong mga kabataan, lalong-lalo ng mga kabataang babae, sila po mismo yung nag-organize ng event para ma-celebrate ito. So you really see them at the background, you really see them at the foreground. They're the ones hosting the events, they're the ones facilitating the event. And so you can really see girl and women empowerment in action. And this October 30, magkakaroon po ng Girls Summit dito po sa Quezon City MICE Center or My Center. And this will be participated in by 500 girl and youth leaders. We will be gathering them all together so that they will be able to discuss pressing issues that affect them, and at the same time craft a girls' agenda that they will push forward and submit to the government and to other sectors.
And for this event, you're partnering with the Quezon City government?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, we're partnering with Mayor Joy Belmonte for this event.
Oh, girl power,
Yes.
diba?
Yeah.
So when you see, all these women doing this and actually volunteering, no? Nakikita mo yung mga kababaihan, they come forward, they volunteer, they speak in these events. Nabubuhayan ka ba seeing this kind of progress?
Yes, because I used to work in the government as well, sa isang policy-making body. So you craft policies, you consult with different sectors. But when I transitioned to the non-government organization, you can really see action on the ground. So iba yung drive, iba yung passion, iba yung fuel na ibibigay sa'yo. Na plus, working with champions from different sectors, such as Mayor Joy Belmonte, which who I think, politics aside, really has that moral ascendancy to speak about girl and women empowerment, because clearly she has institutionalized policies and programs in the Quezon City government that celebrate not just women but I think all genders.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that you brought up the difference, Ren, of when working for making policy from a legislative standpoint, and of course being on the ground working with an NGO. There's actually a program here that Plan International that is trying to push, and me not being the right gender to talk about this, Anne, can you talk a bit about
Yes,
this?
one of the...
No, you are an ally.
I'm trying to, and I want to give.
Space.
Thank you. I want to give the right platform, also the right space and the right voice to questions like this, because syempre, I don't want to. It is just one of the things that I have to be a bit aware about.
And,
But so, Anne,
I believe as we are fighting for equality, gender equality, meron ding role that the males play
Yes.
in this, diba, in this drive for women empowerment, gender equality. But
For sure.
you've mentioned one of Plan International's initiatives was to provide menstrual hygiene management kits.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this, and how does this empower yung rights ng kababaihan?
Yes, with the recent disasters that happened, one of our priorities was to really distribute menstrual hygiene management kits, dahil kadalasan yung napkin, di ba, yung sabon, yung underwear, ito yung mga nakakalimutan sa mga disaster response.
Yes.
I myself I was a culprit of it. So when we did disaster response, nakadala na kami ng kumot, ng banig, ng kulambo, pero nakalimutan naming magdala ng napkin. no? So madalas ito yung mga nakakalimutan pero hindi naman hindi natitigil at hindi natatapos ang menstruation o ang pagreregla ng isang batang babae o ng babae kapag nagkaroon ng bagyo, nagkaroon ng lindol, ano? So these are the things that you really have to provide to them because it's part of our daily lives. And apart from that, there's also a study that's saying na in education, 1 out of 5 young Filipinas actually have to miss school because they have menstruation.
Really?
So clearly, malaking bagay ang naidadala kapag yung menstrual hygiene management ay natutugunan.
That's right.
So actually, in connection to that, Akbayan Party List Representative Dada Kiram Ismula filed a bill called the Free Period Products Bill, which guarantees free and accessible menstrual hygiene products in all public schools and health centers nationwide. Now, she also called the situation period poverty in the country. First, let's talk about that term muna, yung period poverty. And you mentioned that you were also part of legislative working policy. Just how does this all tie in together for you, especially with yung advocacy mo?
This is actually great news for everyone because sometimes actually when you work with communities, lalong-lalo na yung mga nasa poverty line, ano, pag tinanong mo sila, ang talagang ipaprioritize nila ay pagkain. So madalas hindi na talaga nabibigyan ng budget ang pagbili ng napkin, no? So gagamit na lang ng pasador or ng tissue. Kaya katulad nga nung nabanggit ko kanina, imbis na papasok ako sa school, baka matagusan ako eh. So maglalagay na lang ako ng maglalagay na lang ako sa bahay hanggang matapos yung aking menstruation, ano. So I think this is a daily battle for those who are within the poverty line. And with this bill that's coming up, I think there's much spotlight that will be given into menstrual hygiene and management. I think hindi lamang dun sa pagbibigay ng pondo para sa mga menstrual hygiene products. Sana mabigyan din ng atensyon yung ating mga water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities katulad ng mga malilinis na banyo sa eskwelahan, sa public places, pagkakaroon ng tubig kasi kailangan ito lalong-lalo na kapag meron kang menstruation. And yung isa pang nakakalimutan, yung proper waste disposal ng ating mga menstrual hygiene products.
Right. You know, maganda talagang i-push tong bill na to because if it does get passed, di ba, magiging available yung mga menstrual products for free sa mga health centers and sa mga schools. So that is a very big step, no, para matulungan yung mga, lalo na yung mga kababaihan na hindi nila masyadong afford bumili ng menstrual products every month. Kasi every month yan eh. So kasama talaga yan sa budget mo. And aside from this, what are the other policy recommendations that will be pushed forward sa summit?
One of the things that we will also push for, siguro building on that that policy that we've mentioned, is really on education and awareness raising about menstrual hygiene and management. Because as we all know, only if we are informed, that's really the only time that we will be able to celebrate and recognize the experiences of women. At ang mahalaga din doon sa mangyayaring Girls Summit ay yung mga kabataang babae at ibang mga batang participants din natin, sila mismo ang magde-determine ng mga agenda nila. So sa umaga magkakaroon ng mga pag-uusap, Girls in Crisis, ano ba ang kalagayan ng mga batang babae tuwing disaster, sa panahon ng climate change at kahit sa mga conflict situation. Magkakaroon din ng spotlight na ibibigay sa mga sa girls in education and economic empowerment, and at the same time girls safety, lalong-lalo pat ang Pilipinas, we're still the social media capital of the world, and that means there's higher risk for online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. At pagkatapos noon sa hapon, mag-uusap-usap itong ating mga girls and youth leaders at mag-iisip sila ano ba yung mga polisiya na gusto nating makitang i-implement ng government maging ng iba't ibang mga sektor kasama ng Plan International Pilipinas.
Perfect. Now, can't wait for that event, of course, and to see what policies I think our girls actually want to push forward. But I think that will be very interesting. But we're running out of time. But before we let you go, we can't let guys get off the hook here. You mentioned, because we mentioned a while ago that it's important to have an ally, especially in this particular advocacy. Now, speaking to the men out there, Okay, what is the message? How could they actually be part of your advocacy and to be able to actually give them the platform, the space, and of course, fight for that equality that we are all striving to get?
Yeah, everything starts with being role models. Yung mga maliliit na bagay na ginagawa natin everyday na, these are the things I think that are most important before we're able to create big policies and programs and initiatives that will stand with girls and women. Napakahalaga ng pagiging isang role model. Halimbawa na lang pag nagda-drive ka, di ba, usually pag mabagal yung sa unahan, sasabihin siguro babae yung driver. Di ba?
That's true,
Sasabihin
though.
pag babae ang leader, pa iba-ibang isip. So I myself have been told you were too kind for a male-dominated industry. So but then again, our kindness, the feminist leadership principles and values that we stand up for are actually our strength.
That's true.
And so if we see more men and boys celebrating that strength and vulnerability at the same time of women, then we will be able to see gender equality and inclusion in the Philippines and in the whole wide world.
And where can they learn more about the Girls Summit event on October 30 and more about Plan International Pilipinas?
They just have to follow our social media accounts. So Plan International Pilipinas at Facebook and Plan Philippines at Instagram.
Oh, that's great. Perfect. So we're going to drop a follow as well.
Yes.
But on that note, Ms. Bubbles, we have to wrap things up. And normally we do so in a special way.
Yes, our show is called Beautiful Day. What makes your day beautiful?
My day is made beautiful because, of course, I woke up beside my husband and my son. And I am also here today sharing this fight to stand with girls and then standing side by side with allies like you.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. Pebbles Sanchez-Ogang from Plan International Pilipinas. Thank you, Pebbles.
Thank you very much for this space and opportunity.
No worries. And thank you as well to your husband for being able to bring
Yeah.
you here as well. I heard that was a bit of a journey.
Yes,
to
that's
get here.
partnership in action.
There it is. Perfect. All right. And on that note, thank you so much, Miss Pebbles.